Hello, you guys. It's Talisha Huddleston, and I'm back with more from the book Hungry. I can never get this right, you guys. But however, video is something else. However, I want to continue to read with you guys from chapter 2. So I'm not going to waste time. We're just going to jump right into it. I know when we left off, we talked about God shedding some light on me and speaking to me of saying that I knew how to cook. He had prepared me those 16 years that I was married for this moment because he knew I was going to need it. And if you remember, I spoke about um, during that marriage to my deceased husband that when I met him, I knew how to cook nothing, nothing at all. Literally, he was the one doing all the cooking in the relationship, but I kept being consistent because I had a desire to want to cook for my family, for my husband and my kids. That every day I would go to his mother's house and I would just watch her cook. I would study her in the kitchen. And so, however, that was the period that God had me in training for a time that was such as this 19 years later. Who would ever have said that I would be going in my kitchen to figure out how to cook something to take care of my family? All right, let's get to it. We left off right here. I began to make a homemade Alfredo sauce, seasoned with grilled chicken and broccoli florets. When it was time to boil my pasta, I realized that there was not any pasta. Alfredo is just not Alfredo without pasta. So I sat in silence for a moment again. I was thinking about what could I use in place of the pasta. And then that's when I spotted out of the corner of my eye a bag of potatoes. That's it, I said. I began to bake the potatoes in the oven. When the potatoes finished cooking, I stuffed each one with the rich, creamy Alfredo, broccoli, and seasoned chicken sauce. I allowed the community stores to sample what I had cooked. Later, I found myself preparing and selling lunch for the community. I told God that if I had any leftover meals, then I would donate them to the homeless. My cooking skills worked. I paid the rent and put food on the table for my children. Who would have known that cooking again would be my second assignment? This assignment was to start a business called Potato Gourmet. My children rode with me to make the deliveries, and afterwards we would go looking for areas to donate the leftover food. Just as I had promised God, one day we went to a women's shelter and I encountered an experience that I would never forget. That day we had only 6 meals to donate. As we pulled up, we saw only a couple of people outside. So I thought, well, there's enough food to give out. Okay. So we parked and I hopped out of the truck. We each grabbed, we each reached inside of the food warmer to get the meals out. When we turned around, there was a crowd of women and children standing before us. There was probably about 35 to 40 women and children combined. I did not know what to do. So, we gave out the 6 meals that we had. I told the boys to get back inside the truck. As we drove away, you guys, I sobbed. I mean, it wasn't your average cry. I completely sobbed. I sobbed. All I could think about was the look on their faces when I told them that there were not any more meals to give out. My heart was broken, and there were so many of them left, and I could not help them all. Over the months, I began to develop more food dishes for the potato business. My new thoughts were, how can I help those women and children? I thought about this day and night. I said at some point I would go back and be able to provide enough food to feed them all. I just needed to figure out how. Numbers, maybe we should stop. Maybe we should stop. I'm going to stop there before I read this scripture because it goes with the next part of the story. And we'll pick back up. But let's talk just briefly about when you're called to do something that is an assignment. And my pastor always, well, he has spoken before on being on assignment. And the way he explained it to us, the congregation, is that when God puts you on an assignment, it is up for you to be obedient in doing what it is that God has asked you to do on this particular assignment. And he explained that, however, some people carry through the assignment and then others reject the assignment. It's free of choice. You can receive and be obedient, or you can reject the assignment that's given to you at that time. But however, I would hate to be in the shoes of the one that rejects the assignment. That means God would have to take you off and replace with someone else. Nothing about that situation could be good. So I accepted my new assignment, and that was to cook again. Me thinking that I was cooking for myself, to take care of my children, to pay the rent and keep food in the house. But really, it's like I told you again in chapter 1, it's always for someone else. Till next time, I'm excited to read the next piece of chapter 2. Can't wait to see you tune in. Thanks.